Hello and welcome to another episode of Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. So another interesting week in the Premier League regarding match week 23. A number of teams back in the challenge of the top four, in particular Chelsea and Tottenham, which I will speak about later on in the show. But we have to start off with the game of the week, which was Liverpool and Man City. So not a great game from my team there. We actually started really well, in all honesty, but I don't think we created enough chances to really challenge or kind of work the goalkeeper in the first half. I was quite pleased to see Jones back in the starting lineup, as I've been saying it for quite a while, that he just adds a difference or spark in the midfield, as all our other midfielders are quite similar in terms of how they play. So I was quite pleased to see Klopp start Jones in the starting lineup. But let's get into the action of the game. So Man City were awarded a penalty in the first half. I guess it was a penalty. It was one of those ones where I feel like Fabinho thought he would have got enough of a touch onto the ball, but got Sterling in the end. So an unusual penalty from Gundogan, who's normally quite good at penalties, kicked it over the bar. So quite a surprise. So at that point, as a Liverpool fan, you thought, it might be our day and we might be able to go on from there on. So it wasn't to be, unfortunately. So in the first half, Sterling produced a great one on the left wing, and Foden shot saved by Alisson. Arguably could have probably done better with that save by maybe parrying it away behind the goal, so it could have gone for a corner. But instead, it more or less got planted right to Gundogan, who's on fire right now and can't stop scoring. So probably the wrong person to parry it onto, unfortunately, there for Liverpool. And then in the second half, we were fortunately awarded with a penalty. I know a lot of fans have got a lot to say regarding, what can I say, Salah's simulation to the ground. I think it was soft. Don't get me wrong, but for me, it was a smart play in terms of Salah because Diaz was never going to get the ball. So any contact that you feel from a defender, you shouldn't. But I guess it is the modern day of playing football nowadays. You will fall down and simulate to the floor. So regarding if it was a strong penalty or not, it's a penalty. End of the day, he was nowhere near the ball. So rightly so in terms of that decision, and good penalty by Salah there. Clinical as always. So the next point for me was a little bit disappointing from Liverpool's perspective is the substitutions that Klopp made. So the substitutions he made on the 68th minute, where he replaced Milner. Sorry, he brought on Milner and replaced him for Jones, and then Shaq came on for Thiago. Thiago for me wasn't really effective in the game, so that's more understandable in terms of that substitution. But I was very disappointed to see Jones taken off during that game. I thought he was our best player, and he was just completely different in terms of how he was playing. I remember there was a moment in the first half where Foden was free on goal, and he had Jones that was the last man, and then got the ball cleanly from him, and he tried to start an attack from a deeper position as well. And he just had a great spark. He was just everywhere on the pitch. And for me, I felt like whenever he had the ball, I felt like something might happen. With any other midfielders, I didn't get that same kind of feeling. So I was personally quite disappointed to see Jones taken off. And to bring Milner as well, Milner's been a fantastic player for Liverpool, but he doesn't have that same impact in the team anymore. And at 1-1 as well, I don't feel like that was the time to bring on a more defensive-minded midfielder onto the pitch. I feel like we should have probably played 10 more minutes to see how the game goes. And if we were fortunate enough to score a goal, then you bring on that sort of midfielder and sort of shut shop and try and reduce the attacks from the opposition. But that wasn't the case, as I felt like bringing on Milner, Shaq, who doesn't really track back that much either, didn't help in that aspect. So we were quite open in the central areas. But unfortunately, the two goals afterwards for City that happened were not down to any midfield or outfield players. It was Alisson, especially the second goal where he didn't miskick it twice. Once he miskicked it twice. in bizarre fashion. And yeah, Foden for me, star of the show, running from the wing and then squared it to Gundogan, who couldn't miss from point blank, really. So yeah, it wasn't great. And the third goal was pretty much the same as well. Liverpool trying to play it from the back. And then, yeah, another bad clearance from Alisson to Bernardo Silva, who chips it over, and then Raheem Sterling chests it onto the line for the third goal. And then the final goal was just a fantastic hit by Foden. Played in various positions, actually. So did play as a false nine, but also played on the right-hand side towards the latter stages. Hit that shot with such venom as well. Arguable to say that Alisson should have maybe saved it, but I feel like he was probably caught off guard in terms of that shot coming in, and it was just hit with such power. I don't think he reacted on time, to be honest with you. So, yeah, really, really disappointing performance from Liverpool again, unfortunately. I think Robertson as well, as consistent he has been this season, he needs a break. He just looked so jaded throughout that game. It's just unfortunate that we've got a new signing in Tsimikas, who's hardly been fit. He did make an appearance during this game, so I would like to see him get minutes just to give Robertson a bit of a rest. It's nothing to do with his form or anything like that. He just looks exhausted. He's been pretty much played most of our games this season, and I just feel like it's unfair that he's had to push his body so much, and he's not getting the rewards, unfortunately. So that's kind of like the tale of the Liverpool team right now, unfortunately. So it's been discussed in the media in terms of why things aren't happening. I've discussed it in previous episodes as well. The team has been the same team for about 2-3 years now, and we haven't really refreshed our squads over the last 3-4 windows. So that's a key factor in terms of how we've set up and the reason why we haven't progressed as well. And it's just been unfortunate that we've had all the sort of bad luck in one period where we've had injuries, lack of form, and lack of consistency, all jumbled up in one. So I said this in the last episode, if you watched it, that for me, the title race is gone. And I said that about a week ago. I think for us, top 4 is the target, and we shouldn't look any further than that. Top 4 is the aim. If we get top 4, for me, that's still a successful season, considering the difficult circumstances that we've faced with our injury crisis and so forth. So, but credit to Manchester City, fantastic performance again from the team there. For me, we're looking at the champions right now. I can't see anyone challenging City right now. They're simply unstoppable, playing great football, and I don't even think they've hit their maximum level right now. They've still got Kevin De Bruyne to come. Aguero's been injured for a while as well, so they're doing really well without their 2-star players there. So well done to Man City. I think you fully deserve the win. So the next game I'd like to speak about is the Manchester United versus Everton game. So this was a very entertaining game for the neutral, I'd say. Lots of goals. In particularly, Bruno Fernandes' goal was amazing. A rocket from 20 yards. Fantastic goal. I have to be honest, I think this is a missed opportunity for Manchester United. This was the game where if they had got the points, it would have really cemented more of a challenge towards Man City right now. They've just been quite inconsistent right now. I feel like they couldn't quite believe that they're top of the league from last month, and it's affected their performance all of a sudden. A lot of the fans were quite jubilant that, this is number 21 right now, but we were at the halfway stage and we pretty much still are kind of. So it was too early to kind of start the celebrations last month. I'm not saying that's a judgment for all United fans. It's just things I see online and the perception I get from other United fans as well. But yeah, missed opportunity in my opinion. I think they could have really gone on to get the win there. Fantastic goals from some of the players from United. So Cavani scored a good goal. Nice whipped cross by Rashford there. As I mentioned, Bruno scored a fantastic goal as well. In regards to Everton, the Doucouré for me was one of the star performers for the team there. Worked his socks off. Scored a goal as well. A slight mistake by David De Gea in terms of parrying it back to Doucouré, similar to what I said about Alisson earlier on. And James Rodriguez as well with a nice left-footed goal. And the free kick. So I've seen a lot of stuff online regarding the free kick that eventually led to the winning goal for Everton. For me, I don't think blaming Twinzabi is the right thing. Don't get me wrong, the tackle was probably not the right thing to do at that time. It was the last minute, I believe. And, at that stage, you're trying to just clear the ball, try and make sure there's no attacks going on whatsoever. But Richarlison was quite clever in terms of how he dribbled towards Twinzabi and knew what he was doing. But for me, you can't blame the defender for giving away that free kick. It happens. It's just one of those things. But the team has to defend together for that free kick. It wasn't like the free kick was 20 yards away from the box. It was more or less near the halfway line. So that's a lot of work for the opposition to do to score from there. Great delivery by Luka Dean there, and flipped on by Keane, I believe it was, and then Calvert-Lewin with a left foot finish. So yeah, great equalizer in terms of Calvert-Lewin, who's just come back into the team as well. But yeah, I don't believe the young defender should be blamed for that. I'm also seeing a lot more racist abuse for him online, which is just absolutely ridiculous that he's still facing these criticisms from his own fans, unfortunately. The government has come out and said that they will start prosecuting social media platforms regarding the use of language and racist offense that have been tweeted or messaged on these platforms. But I feel like a lot more has to be done. The FA needs to be involved in this as well, because it's just not just from the government. The FA needs to be responsible in terms of who these people are, and like when obviously we do get back to stadiums and spectate games as well. These guys should be nowhere near the stadium, should be nowhere near these clubs. It's absolutely ridiculous that a young person like Twinzabi has to face this. Rashford was getting abused last week as well. End of the day, these guys are human. You can't just throw out this abuse. There's no room for racism whatsoever. So for me, it's just ridiculous, and getting a bit sick and tired of seeing this, as a headline every week. And it's unfortunately black players that are facing this. So for me, a lot needs to be done. It's just getting out of order right now. So on to the next game, Newcastle and Southampton. So what a great game to start off match week 23. Very exciting game with lots of goals. It was a day for debutants, to be honest with you. So Willock, on loan from Arsenal for Newcastle, scored the first goal. So Saint-Maximin, good to see him back on the pitch. He's been out for quite a while, causing havoc on the left wing as always. Squared it to Willock and finished it nicely with right foot. For me, he's been a good signing. And I did say it during our transfer deadline show as well, that I feel like that's a great signing from Newcastle, because he's different to what they have in terms of the midfield. None of their midfields are box to box. They're quite deep lying midfielders where they like to pass the ball around, but no one really drives from a deeper position and tries to get any goals. So for me, he's a fantastic signing, and I think he will add a lot of goals to that team during the season. And then the second goal was from Almiron, equalizer, deflected by having the best of times right now. I think that's his second. It wasn't an own goal, but it was more or less like a second own goal for him in the space of a week. The second goal for me was my favourite goal. On loan midfielder from Liverpool, Minamino. Fantastic first touch. And he just smashed it with his left foot into the roof of the net. And his performance was quite nice to see as well. And the system that Southampton plays suits his abilities. So they pretty much play like a 4-2-2 sort of formation. And from my recollection, that is the same formation that Salzburg used to play as well. So he's quite familiar in terms of that role, and it suits him where he can attack from the central areas. Also formed a great partnership hand side, and you can see they were talking quite a lot during the game, making sure that Minamino was making the right runs and making sure that he was making use of the space when they're on the attack. So great day before Minamino there. I'm sure a lot of Liverpool fans would agree with me. It would have been nice to have him in the squad during the City game, because we could have done with an attacking substitution from there. But for me, it's a good move for him. It's a great way for him to get more games, continue development. Who knows? He might be back at Liverpool. I don't have high hopes, but I do rate Minamino, so I do hope to see him for Liverpool next season. But yeah, back to the game. I think the third goal itself was a mistake by the goalkeeper and Bertrand. Bit of miscommunication there regarding the passing there, and then Almiron took advantage there. Ward-Prowse with another super free kick. He's just unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen him miss a free kick. He's a specialist. That is the word you can describe him. Very much Beckham-esque in terms of how he scores as well. So, Mr. Reliable when it comes to set pieces there. Hendrick's got a red card, which for me was probably right decision. One of the challenges was a bit soft, but when you're on a yellow card, it's always difficult. And the referee had to make that decision there. But overall, great win for Newcastle. A much better performance for Southampton, considering the big loss that they had not so long ago. So overall, an exciting game for the neutral. So it was a good way to start the football week for us. Next game is Aston Villa and Arsenal. So this game in terms of the first half, not a lot of challenges or shots on goals, to be honest. The goal itself, mistake by Cedric. Traore runs from the right-hand side, squares it to Watkins, and finishes it from close range. So great start. This was literally, I believe, the first or second minute of the game. So that definitely put Arsenal on the back foot there. Martinez had a good save as well regarding one of the free kicks that they took. But there were chances for both teams. So it literally could have gone either way. So Barkley had a shot on goal as well. That just went over. Pepe had a shot as well. Odegaard, so came on as a sub, had the chance to equalize, hit over the bar. Maybe could have done better, if I'm honest with you. But a great win for Villa, who've had a fantastic season and seem to do really well against the stronger teams this year. So credit to them. Another great win. Arsenal, despite loss, have picked up form now. So it's just kind of hitting the reset button now and just walk on to the next game. So we'll see how their next match treat goes on. So the next game, Tottenham. So Tottenham against West Brom 2-0. Tottenham back to winning ways. I was quite surprised regarding the inclusion of Kane in the starting lineup, as I thought it was in it for quite a while. So I think that was mind games there from Jose Mourinho in terms of letting the public know that, oh, he's not available, and then he just starts the next week. But you can see, it's quite obvious to see that Tottenham are just a different side when Harry Kane is in the team. The first goal itself, great through ball by Højbjerg. And then, as always, Mr. Harry Kane finishes it clinically from the left. The second goal as well, great run by Lucas Moura, who's back in the starting lineup there, driving forward from his own box, more or less, to be fair. And lays it off to Son, who finishes a great counter-attack for Spurs. 2-0 to Spurs there. So back to winning ways. And I feel like with Harry Kane back in the team, this would definitely help them cement another challenge towards the top four. But it's a lot of teams are challenging for the top four spot now. So it's going to be a very intriguing season to see how that pans out for everyone. And another challenger right now is actually Chelsea. So Sheffield United versus Chelsea. So another victory for Tuchel's boys there. Great run by Werner, who squared it to Mount. And Mount produced a fantastic finish as well with his left foot. Great start to the game. The own goal itself was a bit weird. I don't know what Rudiger was thinking, to be honest with you. But yeah, a bizarre goal to give away for the opposition. And the second goal itself, definite foul on Werner. I think stonewall there. No arguments there whatsoever. Jorginho brought back his little trademark slow walk and hop finish to claim the 3 points for Chelsea. So that's 3 consecutive wins for Chelsea there out of 4 games. They're showing great form right now. And I feel like they'll be there as well to challenge for the top 4. It's the top 4, the race for top 4 is firing up now. So it will be intriguing to see how the next few weeks go on, because I feel like we'll be seeing a lot of teams in and out of the top 4 positions. So yeah, it's going to be exciting for everyone nevertheless. So the next segment of my show, I'd like to present my team of the week. So here it is. So we've got Martinez in goal. I did give him a bit of criticism last week, where I feel like he was not at his best at all and made several mistakes, possibly for all the goals actually. Um, I also read as well that he was so disappointed with himself that he actually asked the Aston Villa attackers to do extra training with him to try and gear up, and I guess it worked for him. So that's why he's back in my team there. Luke Shaw as well for me has been one of the top performers for United over the course of possibly a month now. Has been in great form, has picked up, and for me produced another assist with a corner there for McTominay's goal. So yeah, fantastic performance from him. Stones for me was fantastic against Liverpool. Pretty much the rock in that team as well. Diaz also had a good performance, but I've gone with Stones there as Diaz gave away the penalty during the game. But nevertheless, a solid defensive performance from the City team there. I've got Dunk in the team simply because he scored from the corner there, so I thought it's probably worth giving him a mention as well, especially as he had a good game against Liverpool last week, but I had to choose between himself and Webster, so I thought I'd give him a 10 for my other team of the week. So on midfield, Minamino for me, fantastic debut for his new team there. Loved the goal, and overall I think he performed really well for the team, so that's why he's there as well. Willock, for me, I'm quite excited to see how he develops for Newcastle this season. And I feel like at Arsenal, he's not really been given a chance to get much game time or have any impact in the team. So this would be a great way for him to showcase his talent. And who knows, he'll be back at Arsenal next season a better player. And a great way to do that is scoring goals, which he did in this game. So fantastic debut for Willock there. The career as well for me, fantastic performance from him. Boston midfield during the game against Manchester United also was on the score sheet and providing assists. So that's why I've got him in my team there. Gundogan, he's pretty much planted his position in my team of the week every week. I just can't get rid of him, to be fair. He's just been in phenomenal form. Another goal for him. I don't feel like they missed the absence of Kevin De Bruyne whatsoever because he's getting the goals and he's leading the attack in the team as well. So yeah, fantastic player, very underrated in my opinion. Definitely a contender for one of the player of the year this season. So we can obviously talk about that further down the line. Front three, I've given Werner a spot in my team. Feel like he produced a better performance for Chelsea. Got the assist for the first goal and I guess played a hand in terms of getting a penalty as well. So that's why I'm going with my team. Calvert-Lewin as well, scoring the winner against Manchester United. Not the winner, sorry. It's a draw. Probably felt like a win the way the Everton boys celebrated at the end. But yeah, I think he's coming back to form as well. And probably at the right time as well, where a lot of the English strikers are trying to get their name into the next England squad as well. I definitely feel like he has to be one of the strikers in contention for that. And then finally, I've got Foden in my team, who for me has been fantastic over the last few weeks. And in this game as well, I feel like he more or less announced himself as well in terms of how he played because he was unstoppable. So I'm intrigued to see how his season pans out because as talented as he is, I actually don't quite know what his position is. Like he can play a different position, which is great, but I feel like you want to know your trade when you're a young player and want to cement one sort of role within the team. But let me know what you guys think actually, because that's quite an interesting topic there regarding what position is best suited for Foden. I personally would play him in more of a midfield role as like a number 8, but some people prefer him as a number 10 or playing from the right or the left. So interesting, but nevertheless, fantastic talent and has a great future ahead for England as well, if the Euros coming up very soon. So before we wrap up, just like to give an update regarding the fantasy football team. So fantasy football team, let me just double check my performance because I'm not sure what I got in the end. So I got 76 points. So not too bad considering my last few weeks. I've had average score of like 40, 50 points. So I'm relatively pleased with that. But there was one person in our league that had a great score. 1 point off the 3-figure mark there was Philip Bamike. So scored 99 points there. So well done, Philip. That's a fantastic score for you. I think the highest is actually 133. So you weren't even too far off regarding the fantasy football world there. So well done to you. And let's see how your next few weeks pan out there. But before we wrap up the show, I'd like to just speak about the next upcoming games, or the two big games that I feel like that are coming up regarding match week 24. So the first one is Leicester City versus Liverpool. So a big game for both teams, to be honest with you. Leicester City are third right now, and Liverpool fourth. I believe it's 2 points gap. I'm not 100% sure, but nevertheless, it's a win. It's a must-win for both teams. I think Liverpool have pretty much been quite inconsistent, so not sure what team will be out there this weekend. But what I would like to say is that I'd like to see one of the new signings start for Liverpool. So I'm hoping to see Kabak. I was actually something I didn't mention earlier on. I was quite surprised regarding Kabak because there was news or speculation that he was actually going to start against Man City, and I even saw on Instagram that probably an hour before the match had started, Liverpool official FC account said Kabak will be in the lineup. So I was like, oh, that's great. I think a lot of fans wanted that as well. But when I saw the lineup, I was like, oh, so Fabinho and Henderson back in the defense, I wanted at least one of them in the midfield. So I was a little bit disappointed about that. But this game, I feel like one of the new defenders have to start. And for me, it would probably be Kabak alongside Fabinho, and probably place Henderson in midfield. And then it's an interesting one because we've got so many injuries right now. If we had all our midfielders fit, I'd probably have rested Thiago for this one. And I feel like we've rushed him from injury and he's just looking off the pace right now. Isn't quite playing to his capability right now. So I wouldn't want to play Milner because he's been overplayed in the last few weeks. For me, Jones has to start. I would love to see Jones in the team again. He definitely just had a different impact in that attacking third. Shaqiri, for me, I'm not too sure about Shaqiri, to be fair. I wouldn't start him in this game. So you probably have to go to Henderson, Thiago, and Jones. And then the front three, Mane is just, unfortunately, hasn't been scoring. I was going to say he hasn't had his scoring boots on, but he missed a big header against Man City over the weekend as well. He needs to get back into form. Firmino, I feel like whenever he has a bad game, it influences the whole team. He's literally the cog in our team there. So it's just, it's such a difficult one because we don't really have strong attackers to come on to replace any of the guys. Still waiting on Jota to come back. So hopefully he'll be back in the next few weeks. Salah, he's been getting a lot of criticism. I don't know why. For us, he's literally the source of our goals right now. So if he wasn't playing up, oh wow, God knows where we'll be in the league. So for me, the front three will probably remain as it is, but I'll probably rest Robertson as well. Actually, I did mention earlier on. I think he's just overworked right now. Definitely needs a bit of a rest, and Tsimikas probably deserves a little run in the team as well. Yeah, difficult times. But Leicester City, I know they got a 0-0 result against Wolves, but it was a great game overall, to be fair. And they're showing their form as well. They've got a few injured players back in the squad now. So Pereira's back in the squad. You've got Soyuncu as well. They've got quite a good healthy competition regarding the fullback position. So you've got Justin as well, and you've got Castagne on the other side. So fantastic fullbacks going forward there. And Madison's been in great form. Vardy's just returned as well. So Vardy made a late appearance in the last fixture against Wolves. So this was my prediction here. I think it'll be a draw. I think I'm going for a 1-1. I'm not confident regarding Liverpool right now. I just don't think we have it in us right now in terms of our performance. And Leicester have slowly dipped as well, in my opinion. The last couple of games they've drawn. So I don't think they're firing in all cylinders either. So I'm going for a 1-1 for this fixture. And the other big game is Man City and Tottenham. So, well, we all know about Man City, don't we? They're just on fire right now. I don't think there's any arguments there. Tottenham, obviously, with Harry Kane back, you'd think that, they probably cement a challenge for City. But for me, City are head and shoulders above everyone right now. So I'd probably say a 2-0 victory for Man City. I don't think Tottenham will challenge whatsoever in that game. I don't think they'll have enough in their attack. Harry Kane obviously is there, but I don't think they will trouble their defense, as their defense has been fantastic this season as well. So that's my prediction there. But that wraps us for today. So thank you for tuning in, guys. Thank you for listening. If you're listening to us on a podcast platform, we will be back next Thursday, I believe, for another. It's a longer match week for match week 24. So we'll be back next week on Thursday, I believe. If you follow me on social, I'll give you an update regarding any new content coming up, or the timing of what time we'll be on in our next episode. So you can follow me on ozzie.ftp on Instagram or at ozzieftp on Twitter. Regarding the next episode, actually, so we'll be doing a viewer call-in again. So if you'd like to come on, express your opinions about your team, or fire any questions towards me regarding anything Premier League related, or anything football to you. So even if it's just a debate that you want to start on the show, or something you want to sort of settle with your friends as well, you want to get my opinion, feel free to come on the show, and we can have these kind of discussions online as well. So please do contact me as well. My DMs are open, so feel free to message me if you'd like to be on next week, and I'll present the details of how to come on. So that wraps us for today. Thank you for listening, guys, and I shall see you next week. Thank you.